So,
I'll put it in the computer. Didn't you say you had pictures?
no,
Oh, okay.
that wasn't me. I brought two things. I figured somebody to bring a turning mask. Ear protection is important, yes?
Yeah.
Anybody else like loud music while they're playing out in the shop? Well, these right here were less than 30 bucks. And they'll Bluetooth to your phone with their noise canceling. That's the beauty of them, is when you put them in your...
Yeah, but then my wife couldn't be annoyed by what I'm listening to.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're after, that's what you're after. But if anybody's looking, the nice thing about them is when you're not listening to them, they've got the little magnets in there, so they just kind of
That's cool.
lock together. And they're on Amazon for, I think they were $29. So you can't beat that. It comes with a little case and a recharging cord. So
What's the name on?
Sound Peats, not Beats. Peats with a P. Sound Peats.
So they're Bluetooth.
Yeah, I can put that on I can put that on Facebook.
That's pretty neat.
And it comes with a little case, so I keep that in the drawer. And when I'm not trying to annoy everybody with, my wife bought me a dust-proof and waterproof Bluetooth speaker, Altec Lansing. It's amazing. It's really loud for a little bitty Bluetooth speaker. It's the one I had at the show when we were tearing down. But those, when I'm doing a lot of something like using the planer or something that's really loud and I'll be doing for a while, I'll throw those in because I like my hearing. And then the other thing is, I got a CD, and these don't really provide a lot of protection. So I took my prescription, and there's a online place called Zennies. I don't know if you've ever heard of Zennies or used it. They've got really cheap glasses, and this is a pair of shop safety glasses, high impact, the highest that they have.
You have the shields on the side? Or?
Well, it's closed. It comes around your eyes,
Yeah.
and
They're pretty thick.
for doing pins and stuff on the lathe, it's plain. I just want to keep, particles out of my eyes, and they were, I think, $60 for prescription glasses. So high impact glasses. So I can pass these around. Anybody can look at them if you want.
All right, thanks.
So I brought my shop glasses too. One of my problems being out in the hot weather, in the shop is if I'm wearing my regular glasses and I'm looking down, next thing I know my glasses are traveling south. And if you're in the middle of doing something with a power tool, it's not good. So I went to Walmart and bought this from the fishing aisle. We can hand that around if you want to look at it. It's like $7-8, and it can fall off of my face, and you can tighten it up so it can't go anywhere. But that has
Like screw lights.
and like I said, it's
Does
a fishing aisle.
Does anybody stick their pencil behind their ear while they're working?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had it fall into the blade while it's running?
No.
Like hit you in the chest? So I don't stick my pencil behind my ear anymore.
I stick mine in my ponytail, which not everybody has that opportunity to do.
I mean, it looks sexy on you.
Okay, so the jig that I brought with me, I've been finishing up my Roubo workbench, and I needed some bench dogs, and I wanted to put a nice slot in them to put the wire spring that goes on the side, and I wanted it to be straighter than I can get with a handsaw. So I made a little jig to cut these on a table saw that captures this short little piece right in there. So then you can just run it through the table saw with your fingers safely out of the way. And then to cut the slot in the end, I just drilled some holes and turned the jig around and ran it through the tail saw again. So,
Keep fingers.
fingers out of the way, yeah.
That's a plus.
On the plus side, if you ever need to cut a bunch of corks in half, you've already got the hole.
There you go. There you go.
If you're a wood turner, you must sand someday. If you sand with your Harbor Freight right angle drill, you create vast clouds of dust. You don't know this until you make a Osage orange bowl. You sand that up and you got this big, the 4-inch thing sucking away behind it, and then you take off your helmet, you look around and the entire shop is bright yellow. So this baby's got a fan in it, batteries, got a rough filter out here and finer filter inside so it blows, so it keeps you cool, your face cool too, so it seals pretty well. It's not cheap, but you gotta breathe. And then for fingers, two very simple jigs. Whoops, stand up when you hit it.
No.
Okay. If you work on a lathe, you have a lot of logs around. You want to trim the ends off. You can't shove it through a bandsaw because when it gets past top dead center, it yanks it down. So you need something just to rest it against. That little piece holds a log very well. It doesn't take much. You can buy these for about 120 bucks. And then if you want to make boards out of your log, you can just adjust this thing. I just have, 2 screws, keep adjusting over, you push it through. It doesn't have any way of rolling to the side, and you can just slice them off. I think that would cost a little more. So it's a simple thing.
Because it has screws in it.
Yes. Simple thing.
All right. What's that? Oh, go ahead.
Cheap like me and long hearing protection, 5 big blocks, those are about 10 to 15 cents a pair. When you buy the whole box. And when I do sandblasting, I have a shop vac going, and a big compressor going, and I put these in and then put earmuffs on my head. And but these are, like I said, cheap.
All right, I am much lower tech than the rest of you guys. I'd love to have one of these, but instead I just get this kind of stuff at Harbor Freight. And I'll be honest, I don't use these very often, but when I do, they're better than nothing. And also for gardening and whatever, mowing and that kind of stuff. Estate sale. I think anything is going to be better than nothing, especially when you're running things like planers and table saw, a router. Those are just so loud, and then just right in that pitch, it's going to really damage your hearing. So I got these at CVS, same sort of thing like Statement has. Earplugs. Got this at an estate sale. You don't have to spend a lot of money. The more you spend, probably the better it's going to be. But you don't have to spend a lot of money, and it's worth however much you spend for that kind of thing. These, I got them at Walmart. I was wearing these most of the day to day. They're just probably not $10 at Walmart. You can see they have our wrap around, they're pretty large, and they have bifocals for those of us who need them, and you know who you are. So this way, while it doesn't give me the correction of all the other, distance, but boy, it does make it a lot easier to see stuff up close. And that's what I wanted, was something with bifocal safety glasses. I'm surprised there isn't some more of them. Around this time last year, I laid my finger in a table saw and lost most of this finger here. So I want to urge everybody. Y'all know what this is. This is that protector, that shield that goes over my Delta table saw. Use these whenever you can, if I was using this, I'd still have my finger. So I want to urge everybody to use that shield. And of course, a push stick, use a push stick. I saw a video I don't know, I watch, like most of us, watch a lot of videos. A guy said a good rule of thumb is, if you're going to get any closer than the width of your hand to that blade, don't put your hand there, use a push stick. This happens to be the one that came with it. I've chewed up plenty of them. Even if all I have to do is just grab a piece of wood, just a piece of plywood, just to shove something through, if I can't find this, or if it's something that I know I'm gonna, like something that's less than 1/4 of an inch wide, push sticks, use these guides. So that's it for me. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any just sort of discussion about shop safety? I know that our hobby can be pretty dangerous, especially I know that people who are like under deadlines. You got a lot of stuff to make to get ready for the next Monsanto. Slow down. At least that's going to be my advice. And I'd like to hear anybody else's advice or recommendations or suggestions for shop safety.
That's it.
Sharp tools.
Well,
Yeah.
The one thing I'd like to say is you cannot have too much light in your shop.
Yeah.
I mean, my garage came with 2 fixtures for 61 volts, like a 5-amp circuit. I can put a whole bunch of LEDs and track lighting in there, and that's what I did. So if you don't have light, get some light. Because
Yeah.
if you can't see what you're working on, you can't see your tools, that's dangerous.
I mentioned it in Facebook that maybe we should bring, photos of what happens when we don't use the safety equipment, but,
You do not want to see the photo.
no, I've got the photos when I stuck the end of my finger in the router bit, and that's bad enough.
Yeah. Even
But
the X-rays of mine look pretty bad. Well, just this looks pretty bad. So you can imagine
I mean, it's certainly worse, but the reason I ended up with my finger in the router bit, which it's really hard to do. It's like, you don't ever put your fingers right there on the router bit.
Yeah.
But there was a piece of a splinter or something stuck underneath. I got a cheap plastic router table that I use, and there was a splinter stuck up underneath the fence. Well, I was trying to push it out and didn't take the time to turn off the tool because I was in a hurry. And when the thing moved finally, my finger went right
Went with
into the bit. And it's
Well,
because I didn't slow down, I didn't take my time.
I was cutting about an inch off a piece of plywood, finished the cut, turned the saw off, and then reached over there to clear that little piece of offcut, and while the blade was still spinning, because I was in a hurry and not paying attention. Yeah, absolutely. Slow down. Think about what you're doing. Don't take your eye off of that spinning sharp thing, because don't take your eye off.
Yeah, and the only other time I came close to having an accident, I did not have the driving knife in, and I was cutting a 45 on a small block of wood. It kicked back, and I was actually using a push block to push it over. It actually dipped down, grabbed the push block, threw the push block and my hand back this way. I found the block of wood, it hit the wall behind me. I found it over there in the garage and I couldn't find the push block until I closed the garage door and I heard it roll off into the driveway. It had bounced off the windowsill where it left a big dent and jumped up onto the garage door.
We've had somebody here that came in and showed us a bruise it had.
Oh, yeah.
Some kickback.
Well, let me tell you, a 2x4, when thrown back by a table saw, will imprint the grain at the end of the 2x4 right on your chest. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Even the little staple where they put that sticker on it.
There's one of the guys that I watch a lot on YouTube actually intentionally caused kickback set up his, because he's down in Texas and he's got a large garage door right there at his saw, and he usually keeps the door open when he's running it. And he actually aimed his table saw and a stick of wood, just had the blade up maybe a half inch or so, and he was setting boards down on it, watching it shoot out, and actually shot it through a door. He set up a door and was taking, he had to sharpen the piece of wood, he put a point on it, but he dropped it down on there and it went through the door.
All right, I guess that's something I'm gonna try after our discussion of shop safety. I need to try that. Oh, I can't imagine what.
If you want to make a missile launcher out of it works.
I just think it should be known that if you use a distance saw, you don't have any problems with kickback.
Yeah, distant, yeah. Or one of those nice badass saws, you know.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, although the truth is, while certainly power machines, when they do damage, can do a lot more damage, you're not out of the woods just because you use hand tools. I've seen people who have, dropped a chisel on their foot, or heck, I've slashed myself just trying to sharpen a plane iron, So it's not 100% safe. Ours is a potentially pretty dangerous avocation, and we just need to keep our wits about us.
There's a gentleman on one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, Woodchuckers. He actually was wearing his face shield, but the piece that he was working on when it exploded actually cracked the orbit of his, he posted a picture of his eye was swollen shut, and he had some fractures up in here, and that's with wearing his face shield.
Yeah, imagine what would happen had he not been there.
And he would be unconscious for sure.
Yeah, some of the wood turns buy like front rod helmets that the police wear.
Yeah. Just for that reason, so stuff will
Yeah.
just skip off the top of their head.
I've had several logs come apart when I'm turning them down.
There could
They
be,
had, shape cracks inside the cassette,
Mhm.
just all of a sudden it come
It
apart.
just flies apart. Would you wear any kind of something, at least heavy material?
I have
Small.
some good face shield.
Yeah.
It almost always hits you right in the face.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I've never turned, so it sounds like fun.
The learning is what heavy wire cage goes over the top of the bed when you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used that because I had logs from the car too.
Yeah, but I've never seen it go that way. It always goes this way.
I know, it was on the front side purpose.
Yeah, why is that?
It goes right back at you.
And I think actually lace is considered the most dangerous piece of.
That more injuries occur.
Everything else can mainly, the lace can kill you outright.
Because it's throwing stuff in unpredictable
When I take
directions.
saw, you only cut your hand off. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you do something that's, it's only, 7 or 8 inches across, like a platter, just something small, a little plate. The outside edge of that piece, when you're going to cut it, if you're cutting it at 700, 800, is going over 30 miles an hour.
Mhm.
And the bigger the piece gets,
The greater that radius.
the greater that radius, the faster the speed of that piece of wood on the outside. And if you've got a 10-inch bowl, just a 10-inch bowl, and that thing blows apart while you're hollowing it out because there's some hidden ring shake, you can't see that.
Right.
The tree is just separated around the growth rings. You can't see that. All of a sudden you cut through it.
Off it goes.
It's 40 miles an hour and it'll start going straight.
Even tools that you would think would be relatively safe can cause some injuries too. Dave Chastanet, y'all probably noticed he's missing or got some damage to one of his hands. So he got caught in a drill press. And a drill press is one of those, you wouldn't think that a drill press would be particularly dangerous. But I had it in my mind, he told me he was wearing gloves or something, which incidentally, is a pretty bad idea in general to be wearing gloves while you're, especially around spinning tools. But yeah, you got caught up in a drill press and it jerked off and I guess.
Speaking of drill press, the one that I have now, I bought a Jet recently, and the key has a little spring-loaded
To keep that chuck key,
to
from.
make the chuck key fall out.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I left the chuck key in the drill press that I had previously, and more than once turned it on with the chuck key in there and threw it.
You don't know where it's gonna go, yeah.
And luckily, the thing was a piece of crap, and it took a while to get up to speed, right? But it's still all of a sudden a piece of metal is flying around the shop. It should be.
My grandfather, many years ago, was working in the wintertime, wearing gloves on a jointer, and caught the glove and pulled his hand into
Yeah.
the jointer and lost the ends of about the middle knuckle and down on the hand. And just imagine.
And that fast, and nothing you do. I mean, you can't get out of that glove fast
So
enough.
it happens so fast that, you know,
Yeah.
when something grabs and it's spinning, it happens so fast, you don't have time to think about it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then the other thing that occurred to me while I was thinking about this is we need to be careful when we're lifting stuff too. You can injure yourself. A piece of plywood weighs a 3/4 plywood weighs like 75, 80 pounds, and you can really hurt yourself if you're not careful. Try to move that around the shop.
Sounds like we all just need to quit this.
Yeah.
No! We all just need to keep our wits about this.
Slow
I'm trying to
down.
take that knitting with those long needles scared.
Yeah. My wife is a quilter, and she says it's a common injury to sew your finger, so.
I only super glue my fingers.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to do.
Well, you're talking about moving wood. In my particular home, and this is common around this area, you need to be watching when you move wood around because we have these little spiders
Yeah, like
around here
that.
that will rot your fingers off if they bite you.
Hey, when I lived in San Angelo, I lived in West Texas before I moved out here, and I was cleaning up some wood out of my garage and pulled back the board, and there was a rattlesnake coiled up right there under the wood.
Well, my wife wanted some plywood, and I pulled out a piece of plywood to see if it was
Solid.
what she wanted, and there was a brown recluse on
Yeah.
the back of it. It was
Yeah.
about you big.
Yeah. I caught that rattlesnake, which, by the way, is probably a completely different safety topic because I took it in the house and my wife nearly killed me for it. I showed it to her, then I took it in there. I said, well, I'm going to take it out of that field at the end of the road. I'm going to take it because I don't want to kill it. I'm just not a killer. So I was going to take it out to the field and turn it loose. So I set it on the table while, got dressed so I could take it out there. And so I came back in there and I told my wife, hey, where's that snake? I didn't like that at all. And
You haven't lived that down yet, have you?
no. And by the way, that's another aspect of shop safety. Don't make your wife mad.
Don't go out in the shop when you're mad at your wife.
Yeah. And don't come home drinking with loving on your mind. By the way, for those of us who enjoy an occasional adult beverage, once you get started on beer, once you get started drinking, leave the machines off. It's
True that.
and they'll say, you get those the pills that say don't drive or operate heavy equipment or sign important legal documents. Don't run a table saw. Don't really drive.
Alcohol is a blood thinner.
Oh yeah, well, that's right.
So you not only are you more likely to injure yourself, you're more likely to bleed out if you do get injured.
That's what super glue's for.
Yeah, super glue. I got a scar right there that had this super glue. I let the doctor go. Be super glue right together. Knock myself in the head. Okay. Any other horror stories or suggestions or recommendations or anything? Yeah.
No, not many, but specific to hand tools, if you drop it, let it fall.
Yeah. Don't put your foot up there and break the fall.
I know our pistols are nice and expensive, But, you can grind those things out.
Stand on rubber mats.
Yeah. I actually put rubber mats all around my workbench just so, because I'm pretty clumsy anyway, and so when I drop stuff, it's less likely to damage it. So yeah, let it fall, let it hit the ground. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, all right. Well, thank you all very much. We're